Well, good evening. This is Gina Tadella, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and tonight I'm going to show you some cute paper that's in the online store, and you'll see a couple of the size, and it also has a sticker sheet where you can create 6x6 or 12x12. It won't fit all in the camera, so I'm just going to go slowly. Those aren't designed. The bees can be used on a card, but most of it is just for a scrapbook page. Anyway, so it coordinates with this set that came out in the January through April 2024 mini, which is now carried over into the annual catalog on page 75. It's right here. So, anyways, and then in the embellishments I'm using are the flat, I think they're flat opals. Let me read what it says. Yeah, the flat adhesive backed pearls, not opals. And then I'm using some rhinestones, and then I'm using I think it is the hearts, or no, the pearls. So, and that is on page 115. Anyway, move that out of my way so I don't knock all my stuff down in my tiny video spot. Hello, Linda. Thanks for joining in. So, we're going to use this punch, but we're going to use it vertical on one of the cards, and I'm coordinating with the lemon lolly paper, and the other ones are going to have sentiments on them. So, but this is a cute set. So if you didn't get it last year, you can still get the stamp set. But thank God they came out with paper. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. I just had a sip of my orange soda. Let me see. Hello, Betty. How are you this evening? Oh, that's Betty? Yeah, Betty Schaefer Peterson. Anyway, so hopefully you can hear me tonight. I'm speaking a little bit louder. And so we're going to create some cards, and it can be a Valentine card or just a thanking of you card. So you can use it however you choose. So let me get started. This is a photopolymer stamp set, and then when you get it, you take them off the sheet and place them inside your case, and then keep the hard plastic to cover and protect them, and you can throw the flimsy piece away. You can see I've used this set last year several times. Hello, Linda. Yes, it is a cute stamp set. All right, so let me get back to creating and not knock all my pieces down. So, and I'll give you all the measurements as I go. Let me move this scrap piece of paper out of the way. Over there. So our card base, this is going to be a landscape card. So it's 4 1/4 cut on the 8.5 side, and then it's 11 inches long. And you're going to go ahead and fold that in half, and you can use a bone folder or you can use your fingers, whichever is easiest for you. I'll get my handy dandy bone folder and go up and down. I always start in the center and go up and down, because if you start here, you may get some crumpled folded edges. So always remember to go from the center up and down. Move it back out of the way. Then we are having a white inlay piece because it's easier to mount your DSP on. So anyways, okay, wonderful, Betty. You can hear me good. Anyway, so this is cut at 4 inches by 5 1/4. So we'll move the base out of the way for the time being. And this is one side of the DSP. Aren't they so cute? And then that's the other side. But of course I'm going to use this side. This is a 4-inch square, 4 by 4. And when you cut your paper, it's 12 by 12. You cut it at 4 inches based on the direction of the bees. Remember that, because that's important. And then that's going to get glued straight onto that. And then here's another piece, and we're going to use the hearts, but the opposite side are smaller bees. And it goes great with the Berry Burst, Pool Party, Lemon Lolly, and Basic Black cardstock. So just leave it, and the Pretty in Pink, which was a color that we had a long time ago that came back. So, anyways, so let's go ahead and start putting these together. And these are my two pieces I'm going to put the sentiment on. So this is measured at 3/4 of an inch by 2.5. And then this is 1 inch by 2 3/4, which match up just beautifully. So you never want to mount your white piece to your Berry Burst first, because in case you mess up on one side, you have the other side to stamp on. So let me get my multi-purpose glue. This is a glue I like to use. It's very versatile and it's easy to use. There we go. Try not to get too close to your outside edge because it could seep out. So I go in about 1/2 inch. But it gives you plenty of time to line this up. What I usually do is I just do this, so that way I get it lined up perfectly with that white inlay. Because it's so hard to try to line it up on a card. So I always do this for my people who take class. It makes it easier for them to line it up. And it's an easy way for everybody to do. And then we're going to go ahead and line it up at this end. And it is going to overlap the bee paper. There we go. And you see, no rough edges on the back side. Now, we're going to go ahead and use our black gingham. They don't carry this anymore, but they do have a black gingham that's vanilla. But that wouldn't go good, so you would either have to use a Berry Burst piece of a ribbon, or Pool Party, or just basic black. The one that I have in the catalog now has got vanilla, and that wouldn't go great with white background. So when I go to tie ribbon, I wrap it around 1.5 times. So that way I know I have enough ribbon to tie it. And we're just going to bring this around. And where the two seams of the paper get together, the DSP, that's where I go and put the ribbon at. And you're just going to make a square knot. There we go. And then I usually trim it off at a diagonal cut. So that way and now we can mount this to our landscape card base. Now if you want to use dimensionals, just keep in mind when you use dimensionals, you do have to pay extra postage. A little bit in the center. And we're going to lay this on here, center that as best as possible. When I did my class today in West Bremerton, they love the seagull cards. That's what they created, what I showed last Monday. They really enjoyed those. Just close that up. Now we're going to put that to the side. Now we're going to stamp our sentiment. And your sentiment can be in the Memento Tuxedo Black or Basic Black, whatever black colored ink pad, or you can go with the Berry Burst. I'm going to highlight it with the Memento Black because of the ribbon, and it highlights because there's plenty of the berry burst in the card. And my stamp. So when you're first inking this up, and these need to be primed, and when you're stamping with photopolymer, I have a pad of paper. You need to be stamping your image on top of a piece of chipboard or a pad of paper because the photopolymer has no cushioning, so that way you can get a clean look. And I gotta take my glasses off to see up close. And there we go. Count to 5. Hold the paper. Remove the stamp. There it is. And I usually let it dry just for a moment. And add that glue. Of course, I'm going to use one of the jewels on this thing so it really stands out. Just like that. Now, be very cautious of where you place your saying because you don't want to cover up all your bees. I don't mind covering this one up, but I have my 3 bees here. And this one you could use dimensionals on, but just know that you have to pay that extra postage. I always remind people of that because a lot of them don't realize that. Make sure I get it straight. And remember, we're more of a critic to ourselves. Whenever somebody receives it, they don't know the foos and the paws that we do when we do a card. Believe me. So let me get my beautiful stones out here. These are gorgeous. So I'm going to use the small ones. I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool and use the pointy end. Slide right up underneath that and place one there. And then I think I'm going to put one over here. I do what you call a triangle thing. I'm going to grab one of the big ones and put it over here. But there is that card. See how quick and easy that is? What takes the most time is having to design a card, knowing how to do a layout. I've saved all the time and trouble by doing this. And it doesn't matter whether it's a bee or any other type of DSP. If you follow this is a card layout design. So make it easy on yourself. You can always use that. Thank you, Linda. Appreciate that. Okay, so we'll move that one out of the way. And now we're going to go with the next one. This is a lemon lolly paper. And we're going to stamp this first. Now, where's my bee? The stripes. But I wanted the rest of it yellow. So, we'll ink this up. So keep in mind when you're using the punch, they have a locking mechanism. You want to push to unlock it. And remember, my paper is going to go in here. So I want to get an idea where to stamp it. So I know where to stamp it at. So that way I'm able to punch it straight out. When I get that primed, I'm going to stamp it right there. Count to 5. Hold the paper. Remove. Okay. Now we're going to punch this out. Slide it in the punch. Line it up. Just make sure you don't have your meat of your hand here. Of course, it gives me other pieces, but that's all right. I don't need those. Move that out of the way. And now we want to stamp the little face. There we go. So I know right where to go. Awesome. Now, what do I do with the stamp set? There's little antennas. See that? I need that. So, we pull them out. And they have one that's winking, one with the eyes open and a smile. This one, to me, reminds me of Grumpy. So, just had to share that. Okay, got that mounted. Let me close that up for the time being. So, the bee is going to go on here like this. So, we want to stamp the antennas first. So let me prime this first. I'm going to mount it on diamond shaped. There we go. Now I'll put my glue on. And then when I put the glue on the back of this white square is 1 3/4 inch square. The berry burst is a 2-inch square. The lemon lolly was just a scrap piece of paper. We all have scraps. I know I do. I'm sure y'all do, most of you too. So we're going to go ahead and line that up and mount the white square first. Put a little bit more down here in the tail. And this glue dries pretty decently fast, so, and see how easy that is just to slide it up to the antennas? So you don't want to mount the bee first and then stamp the antennas. You always want to stamp the antennas first and then mount the bee. Now, of course, we're going to give him some cute cheeks. I'm using the bubble gum. Yep, bubble bath. Excuse me, bubble bath. And I'm going to rosy up the cheeks. I'm using the writer's tip. These are our alcohol markers. And I'll bring that up closer so y'all can see that. Isn't that cute? Alright, and whenever you close your alcohol markers, always make sure they click. So that way they don't dry up on you. Now, we'll put that over to the side and bring our other pieces. Like I said, all 3 of these are going to be landscape cards. As earlier, this is 4 1/4 by 11, folded in half. And yes, you can use colored cardstock as your card base. The only sad part is you have to cut a white inlay for the inside for you to be able to write on it. So that's why a lot of times I use the basic thick white cardstock as my card base. But when I make an inlay like this piece, this is just the basic white. This is the lightweight white paper. And this is measured at 4 by 5 1/4. So here is another sheet of the DSP. And then there's the opposite side with the honeycomb and green. But of course I love this side. And then this is the bee trail. The opposite side is the honey jars. So we're going to mount this one first. And we just take the glue and just go around the edge. Oh yeah, of Of course it comes out fast when I don't need it to come out fast. There we go. It wasn't coming out and I squeezed a little bit harder, but that's okay. Just make sure you put your paper on the right side up. And then, like I said, that glue gives you time to push it down to the edge and then press on it. Just that easy. And then, of course, we add this smaller piece. This was a 4-inch square. This is a 1.5 by 4. That way you don't have any wasted DSP. That is so important. But if you do have a strip, you can always use it as a lining at the bottom of your card on the inside. And do the same thing. There we go. Close that up. This one, I'm going to do a bow. And by doing a bow, I'm not going to cut the ribbon. So you're going to bring it around. Make sure it's not twisted on the back side. You want it flat. And then this one is a little bit different. I'm going to bring it up where it crosses halfway. This crosses halfway. That way I can do a bow with it. I think it's like a full double round when you want to do ribbon, when you want to make a bow. Okay. Now I'm probably saying, oh, I hate to do bows. If B was on, she'd be saying that. But that's all right. So we're just going to go ahead and tie this around once. Then I'm going to bring up a loop and then wrap it around that loop. Oops, grab the wrong thing. Try one more time. Loop, keep my thumb on the bottom so that way I can pull this through. I've got, and see, that's not what you want. So let me tell you, if you have a hard time tying a bow, this is what you can do, especially with the narrow ribbon. You can go ahead and make it as a knot. And then do your bow. I already had 2 times, which is a charm. So, you just don't want to make that as a hard knot. Then you're going to take your loop and go through the hole like you do with your shoes. There we go. Except you don't have a knot in it. And I always hold on to the knot when I'm tightening it up, so that way it comes and gets beautiful. There we go. Make that where it's the same size. And there's that. And of course, I'm going to take the ribbon scissors and trim that off. Don't cut your bow. And I usually don't like to have them hanging off the inlay, so I cut those pieces off. Now we're ready to mount that to the card base. There it is. So let's go ahead and add our glue to it. This would be a very nice cheery card, especially for someone sick or had surgery, was in the hospital. This will brighten their day. There's no sentiment on it. You can just write a message on the inside. There's that. Now, of course, we got to add our little cute bee. And then add some rhinestones. I'm going to put 2 on the antennas. Use the smallest ones. Okay. As soon as I squeeze hard, it wants to come out too much. Let me do it in the center. Oh, I have a glue bugger. There it goes. Of course, it's going to be all over my fingers. And I got one more card to go, right? Always happens. But that's what scrap paper's for, to wipe it off on. Okay. And then just rub your fingers together, and the rest of it comes off. If you wet it, it just smears all over your hands. You don't want that. Okay. Let me turn this. And there it is. Okay. Then I grab my little rhinestones. And I'm using the two small ones for his antennas. Where's my take your pick tool? This is a handy tool. It's wonderful. I'll show you the pluses to this one. There's one jewel. There's two jewels. And then I want to use a large one down here on this flower. But this side comes out, if you haven't seen this before, and it has a spatula. So, and then it just locks back in. And the other side is when you have sequins and stuff that do not have an adhesive back, you just, and this comes with, you can purchase refills, but it comes with one when you get it. This picks up anything that has no adhesive on it. And then you can place it in a spot. And then it has a couple attachments that goes with it as well. But there is the second one. Okay, so let's go to our third card. You slide these back in their holder. And if you don't keep your holder when you take them out, you can always use a clear envelope. That's what I usually do if it's busted on me. Now these were in last year's mini catalog. We don't have them anymore. I don't know if they're in the online store, but these were the little resin hearts. So that's what I'm going to use for the last one. And you'll understand why. Oh, no, I'm not using that one. I'm using the pearls, that's right. Because I didn't have anything that went with this. So I'm going to just use our pearl basic jewels. But we have what you call a beautiful pearl that has a ribbed edge that are in the catalog. We don't have these anymore. I just showed you two that we do have. So this is the honey jars. This is on one side, and then that was what the other side was that I used earlier. And then this one has the blossoms. Let me turn them right side up. But on the other side, it has that pretty stripe, which goes wonderful with this paper. So this is a 4 by 4 square. This is a 1.5 by 4. This is the inlay we're placing it on, which is a 4 by 5 1/4. And this is our card base, which is still landscape, at 4 1/4 by 11. We're going to fold this in half and then put it to the side. Press down in the center. And I'm just going to use my fingers here, so those who don't have a bone folder know you can use your hands. Works as good. And we'll move that out of the way. Not there, because I don't want it to fall on the floor. And this is just a scrap basic white and a scrap basic black that we're going to stamp our sentiment on. So I'm going to do this now so that way it can dry. And I just love this because it goes with the honey pot. You're as sweet as honey. So it could be like a thank you card. Let me prime this first. Perfect. stamp on it. I'm going to go over just a touch. Hope I have it straight. Let's see. Yeah, that looks pretty straight to me. Okay. I'll move that out of the way. Now we're going to take our paper snips and we're just going to cut it straight here and straight there. And you could make it a tag, but I'm not going to do that because my ladies have a hard time doing that, so I don't want to put them on the spot. Okay, and then we're just going to go ahead and add some adhesive. I'm just going to spread that a little bit so it's not seeping out on the basic black. There we go. And what I usually do is I line it up on my scrap paper, so I'm only cutting 2 sides, not all 4. Do yourself a favor there when you're doing that. And I'll let that sit for a moment, and we'll go back to that after we get the cards, the inlays mounted. So now we're going to go ahead. We always mount the biggest piece first because this overlaps that. So keep that in mind. And we're going to add our adhesive to the back. See, that's what it was. I left it open and I should have closed the lid. Just a little bit in the center. Make sure I get this on here. And I always just bang it down on the table. And it lines it up every time. See that? Now when you're using dry tape, it ain't that easy. But with the wet glue it is. Then we're going to go ahead and do that with this. And then add that. And that's going to come all the way to the left side. And I just bang it on the table, make sure I got it even. And always flip it over. If you see any hanging, you can just trim it off. Not a big deal. And this one here, I'm going to make a bow and put it on with tear tape. So now we can go ahead and mount this to our card base. Hey, Bee. Thanks for joining in, my dear. Just make sure you go back and watch the replay on the first 2, because you missed that. We're going to go ahead and lay this over here. And then just smooth that out. Alright, our saying should be dry. Now we're just going to take our paper snips. And we're just going to cut on this side. And then on this side. Now, you can make this, I think that's a 1/2 inch. For those of you who have a hard time. Yes, it's a 1/2 inch by 3 1/4. So that would be, you can make this 3/4 by 3 1/2. Okay, for those of y'all that have trouble cutting the paper itself. There we go. Now we're going to go ahead and place this on, and I'm going to just kitty wampus this, and then add a bow here at the top, and then add our jewels, our little pearls, or you can use the ones I used earlier, rhinestones, or the beautiful flat pearls. Don't want to cover up all those, so let me bring it down just some, because it says hug. There we go. And there's that. Now, I gotta tie a bow on video. I feel like I got all the glue. So I usually just make a loop. Give yourself a decent tail hanging. And I wrap it around where my thumb is. And I tuck it in that hole where the thumb was. Then you hold the knot and pull. Hold the knot and pull. And then you pull again. It takes 2 times holding the knot and tighten up your bow to be at the right size. Just like that. I can hear B now. Yeah, I see, Gina. Right. And I'm just going to go ahead and make my angle tags. I'll put it this way. And then we'll put a piece of tear tape on there. That's what's going to hold it. Love this stuff. I know B does too. Okay. I'm just going to put it across here. And you want to rub it real good so it lets you peel it off. Just like that. And there's that. Move all this stuff out of the way so I can bring them in. Get the garbage out of the way. Stuck to my finger. I still got it. So here's the last one. Here's the second one. And here's the first one. First one, that's with the flat pearls. Second one, that's with the rhinestones. And then the third one, oh, we got to put jewels on it. Oh my gosh. Let me get these regular pearl basics. We don't have these anymore, but we have other pearls that have a beautiful ridge around them. They're gorgeous. I'm going to use all 3 sizes. Here is Sweet as Honey. So I'll put this up there where the column is. And then I'm going to use a medium one over here. And then a large one down below. Now it's done. Oh my goodness. Okay. So there it is, now finished. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. But thank you, ladies, for joining. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you're able to use this layout with whatever DSP paper you have and whatever stamp set. Because landscape cards are easy. They stand up very nicely. And you get to use your DSP. Yes, indeed. Anyways, thanks for watching. Take care. Be sure to share. And they can reach out to their local demonstrator. Those who know me know how to contact me. So I usually don't put any information there because I want people to share because people live in other areas and they have their own local rep. But I'll see you again next Monday, same time, but I usually let everybody know that I'm coming on. I try to a little bit earlier. Today I was just running behind, so take care. Bye-bye.